that connection with the environment of somebody, watching somebody that maybe hasn't smiled in 2 years break out in that smile, watching families get back together, watching somebody's child say, I love you for the first time in 15 years to a parent that's not been there because of their addiction, because of what they're going through. That I swear you can skip my paycheck that day, because that's what my world, that's the win. That's the victory.
Welcome back to Full Belly Podcast. I am your host. My name is Matt Bell. On this show, we like to talk about how we used to be completely empty and how our lives have changed and how we are now full in a lot of different ways. We bring on good guests from the community to talk about those things. Before we even go into that, though, I want you, if you're watching this, wherever you're watching it, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, or some other social media platform that we don't even know about, I want you to find our channel, like and subscribe, and make sure that you're able to see the next things that we put out there for you to watch. So now that you've done that, I'll give you a second to do that. 1, 2, we're good to go. I'd like to introduce my good friend, Juan Duarte, who is our co-host, president of Team Recovery Nonprofit.
Go ahead.
And the director of Program Development.
Boy, we went rushing on him, boy.
The director of Program Development.
Yeah, what's up, dog?
How are you, man?
Chilling, brother, chilling.
It's always good to see you.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other in a while.
I see you sporadically throughout the day, but it's in passing. And it's just seeing you do your thing.
Yeah.
Your thing. You're just doing your Juan thing.
I have no clue.
Always just something. And it's always something different. Taking care of somebody or tackling some sort of task or finishing a conference call or hosting a guest or something. Very busy. You're a very busy person. So I appreciate you. Man,
come on. I appreciate you, brother.
Carving out time for us.
Oh, get out of here, bro. I love it here. I love it here.
You know what's cool is we're not in this episode. We're not in this anymore.
God.
We're not in Buckeyes Behind Bars.
I know, man. I know. What do you think when you read that, man? When you see that? What do you think about that? How do you feel about that?
It makes me sad.
Me too.
It makes me sad. Truthfully, it makes me sad that they publish this kind of stuff and put people's information out there. But it also just makes me sad that, you look at those people. I would venture to guess that, we had a guest on here one time. I don't remember her name. She was a case manager at Seneca County Jail.
Oh, yeah. Grace,
that's right. And we asked her what percentage do you believe of individuals get arrested for anything to do with drugs and alcohol, whether they're dealing it, selling it, drunk, fighting, whatever.
Yeah.
Using it. And she said probably 98%. So I look at this and I'm like, man, there's 100 people in here. 98 of them had an issue with drugs and alcohol in one way, shape, or form.
Right.
Like that makes me really sad.
Yeah, dude, so absolutely. Me too.
But it also makes me grateful that I'm not in here anymore because I was in here so many times.
Yeah, man. Quick reminder.
Oh, dude.
I was never in there.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Yeah, no.
That's embarrassing, bro.
Yeah, that's rough.
Because it's never a good photo.
No,
it's never like, hey, I got to retake that a couple times. Most of the time I was like looking off to the CEO that was like yelling at me or something. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, dude, you looked like your head was in somebody else's sock that you didn't know, and then they just took it off, like a tube sock was on you or something.
They pulled the sock straight off.
You have some rough mug shots, dog.
Beard was just all over the place, uncut for months, dude. You could see the stink in my breath. You could see it in the mug shot.
Man, just had plaque on your lips.
And the stink on my skin, dude, just no showering. Just feel bad, man. Feel bad. I've actually thought about reaching out to people and
do that. That's what
I wish they put their phone numbers so I could call them.
If I know them, I reach out to them. That's what I do.
Yeah, for sure. I want to thank our sponsors for this episode too. I don't know if you know this, but Golden Goose shoes. They gave me a free pair, Golden Goose shoes. They're sponsoring this episode today.
Yeah.
And so Golden Goose, I don't know if you know the story of how Golden Goose became Golden Goose, but
a little bit.
You know the story. They sent their bio and all that information over. Yeah. They sent over a couple hundred pairs.
Yeah.
Basically just told us to hand them out to whoever wants them.
Yeah.
And the healing properties that come with the shoes and stuff like that. So there's a little blurb in there that Juan's gonna, shout out at the very, very end about how great Golden Goose is, the good people over at Golden Goose, how they come up with their name and stuff like that. So
they got a strong lineage, man. Deep history.
Very, very deep. Yeah. And the goose didn't used to be golden.
No.
Just so you understand that.
Yeah. And the goose wasn't a goose until it became part of the gander. And the gander is a whole separate thing, but
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how it all worked out.
It is, dude.
Yeah. And then they had a buyout from a private equity company before it was Golden Goose. It was actually Silver Swan before it became Golden Goose.
Yep. And that's why it wasn't a part of the gander.
Correct. Yeah. And it went from the Russians to the
Mongolians.
That's right. The Mongolians now own it. Yep. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. We'll give them a shout out. Thank you guys. Thank everybody at Golden Goose.
Yeah.
We got a really good guest today, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like we really, really do. That I'm excited to bring on and talk to. Erich is his name. And wow. Erich's got a deep-rooted understanding of the battle against addiction. And so his journey as a counselor in the field of substance abuse has been nothing short of inspiring. As an avid weightlifter and trainer, he firmly believes that exercise in some form is crucial to recovery. His passion lies in dedicating his life to helping others struggling with addiction. So, with no further ado, we'd like to welcome on Erich.
Yeah,
come on in, Erich. Come on in.
My guy. What's up, brother?
Welcome to the show, my friend.
Yeah, it is.
I love your shirt, your jacket. It literally says bodybuilding Erich.
Ooh.
And misspelled.
Yeah, they did. I was going to say, this is spelled Erich.
Erich.
Erich. I only told my coach about 4 times that I had an H on it, but
He just wasn't listening.
Weightlifting's his thing.
Sounds like my wife. She just doesn't listen.
It's some other dude named Erich's.
Yeah.
He gave you a recycled Erich's coat.
Right. I last Erich.
Yeah, I see people look at it and go, "That's not how you now." But
Yeah, whatever. You should
was
just
the
write
thought
it in
they
there with
kind
some whiteout.
they told me they were going to put, paste a cutout on it, just so I could wear it.
Yeah. So Erich, we met, I don't know, officially, I think a couple weeks ago, right?
Yep.
And I know that we had talked multiple times,
Many times
prior through Facebook, I think, or possibly some emails too. And I've always just been really intrigued because every time I spoke to you, it was always a very, very, like a place of like respect. Even though you were at a place that had some different perspectives on how things work, you always came from a level of like being rational and respectful, and like regardless of how, someone might believe this or believe this, there's commonalities of like, let's get better. Right.
Absolutely.
And so I always appreciated that in talking with you. So I'm glad that you're here.
Thanks, man. Glad to be here.
And I think that what you talk about is very valid, and the beliefs that you talk about of exercise and all that kind of stuff. Before we get into all that, we're going to talk about all that.
All of that.
So I don't know what all that is, but it's really whatever you guys want it to be. I've got a couple ideas.
I want to know your ideas.
Okay, well, I'll give you one.
Yeah.
I'll give you one. This is more of a question.
Okay.
This is more of a question, and it's really nothing crazy. Are you guys more of an early bird or a night owl?
Go ahead, Rick. Take it away, Eric.
I am definitely an early bird.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think because I'm getting old.
Okay.
But
how old?
I'll be 52 in October.
Dude, you do not look like you're... First of all, 52 is not old. Let me just say that. But you look like you're in your 30s. I never would have guessed you were 52.
I appreciate that. I do get that sometimes. I appreciate it. But yeah.
Dude, I really thought you were in your 30s.
Yeah. No, and I don't get tired or anything. I don't know. I like to be... I feel better. I feel more balanced when I'm up early, get the day going. And
yeah. Same.
So yeah.
Same.
And I mean, depending on the occasion, I may be up late. But it's few and far between.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about you?
Dude, I live on both ends of the spectrum, dude. Sleep is, I can sleep. I love sleep, but I'm a daydreamer and a night thinker. I'm up usually by 6. My internal alarm starts hitting around 5:30, 6 o'clock, where I'm starting to come in and out. I got to force myself back to sleep after 6 and be like, I'm sleeping more. But I'm up until, man, I don't know. I'm up late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stay up late. Yeah, it's my time.
Your time to be with you.
Yeah, just to be with me, man. That's where my mind gets all of the good things that I feel are uninterrupted by the world, and I'm left with my thoughts, my creativity, my feelings.
Yeah. That's I feel that with you. I feel like you're more of a night person. Like
Yeah.
Going to the pier and just disappearing into the moonlight in the water.
I do, bro.
Yeah.
You catch me 2 days a week on a 2 a.m. night drive, bro. I don't tell many people because they're like, bro, you got to go to bed, and they get all weird about it. And I'm like, dog, I just want to listen to music.
They get all weird about it.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Like, Juan, it's 3 a.m. You need to go to sleep.
Right. Like, I just want to put my feet on some stones and grass, dog. Like, give me some room.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know, man. I feel like nothing good happens after like 11. I remember getting put on probation when I was on probation early on, and I was looking at this list of all the things that I had to do that I wasn't used to doing. Like, it was a whole new list of regulations on how I had to live, and if I didn't do those things, I was going to go to prison.
Man.
And so it was, be in by 11 o'clock. And I remember thinking, like, who are they to, I'm an adult. Like, who are they to tell me what time I have to be into my house by? And it's like, generally, most of the chaos and bullshit and craziness that happens like after 11 p.m.
It's true.
So it's like a general rule of thumb, not an always, for sure thing is just be at home, be at home. And it was like other things too, like, don't hang out with people that are using drugs. Do not go to wet places. Do not hang around people that have guns. Do not break the law. Be in by 11 o'clock. Check in with us once every 3 weeks, and like all these different things.
Right.
And I was looking at that as a punishment. I was like, man, why do I got to do this? Why do I got to do this? And then once I got used to it, it was just like, this isn't even a punishment. This is just how normal people live.
Right.
This is a very normal thing.
Pissed off because like Johnny has a gun and like, it's not my gun. I can't control people. Right. You know what I mean?
Well, why are you hanging out with somebody that has a gun is the question.
I grew up
What are they doing that like requires them to need a gun? Not to say that anybody that carries a gun. Right. Because I mean, honestly, if I could carry a gun legally in the state of Ohio, I would, just in our world today.
Yeah, the way because there was people like you in the past.
Because of people like me, dude. Yeah. Literally. Right. I would for sure. But I don't know. I love getting up early. I get up, because the baby gets up super early. Mm-hmm. And so like when she gets up at, probably 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, like I'm up, dude. I'm up blasting off emails, and I get so much work done in like 2 hours, between 4:30 and 6:30, and then I hit the gym or whatever. But I heard somebody say one time too, that like, it's wake up at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Like that's 5 o'clock on the West Coast, right? Like they got 3 hours of an advantage on you, right? They've already been working, they've already been trading stocks, they've already been doing business, they've already been closing deals, right. So it's like, I don't know, just because it's 8 o'clock here doesn't mean it's 8 o'clock everywhere in the world. So we have a very limited amount of time on this planet. We sleep for a third of our lives.
That's crazy.
That's a lot. That's a long time, dude. I'm trying to maximize the amount of hours I can be awake. I'm not good at night. I get tired because I go so hard during the day mentally. Yeah. By the time I get home, and like wind down, my brain is just like, even if I wanted to stay up till 2 a.m. with you, and like, I couldn't do it, dude. Yeah. I couldn't do it.
I think it's like, it's similar to like what you used to be like. I don't know how you're around so many people and you say that stuff and like deal with those type of things. Like, yeah, that's just the well that God dug for me, man. That's just the well that I have. That's the reservoir that God put in me. Even when I'm tired, I'm not well, bro, if I don't get to do that, dog. Yeah. I'm not good, dude.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, good. Bro. If I ain't jumping in a lake, bro, then I'm more than likely being a dick. It's what I need, bro.
What's your biggest guilty pleasure?
Food, without a doubt. Without a doubt. That came quick. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Okay. Eric?
I'd have to join him on that one. The cheat meal. Yeah. Yeah. Cheat meal. I try to keep my diet pretty good, but my cheat meals usually consist of a large pizza and a quart of ice cream. And
oh my God, that sounds so good.
Oh yeah, it is.
Dude, I'll do some stuff that'll hurt me. Yeah. I'll do some stuff that I'll literally like regret the next day, but I'll do it anyway, knowing that I'm going to hurt. And I'll spend an hour in the bathroom in the morning, and then I'll have to spend another hour in the bathroom in the afternoon. I won't sleep well because I have acid reflux. Yeah. But I'm going to do it anyway because that tastes so good when you're... Oh, yeah. It tastes so good when it's going down, dude.
Yeah. I love food.
Bro, food's a drug, for real. Like, think about that. Think about, like, knowing that something is going to damage your body and hurt you. in a way that like you can't function as a normal person the next day, but you're willing to do that shit knowing you've done it 100 times and you know what it does 100 out of 100 times, but you think it's going to be different this time. How is that any different than the chaos that we did with drug addiction?
Yeah, man. It's not.
Good point.
It's not.
It's a drug.
Yeah. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, right. Whatever. I'm not robbing any banks anymore because, because of my pizza fetish.
Right. I ate 19 tamales. I paid for them. You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't steal those tamales, man.
Good.
I didn't get them from a dealer. I paid tax on these tamales, damn it.
Let me live my life, bro.
It's the journey. It's the journey.
Yeah.
I always love it when you have a large pizza in front of you and people are like, you going to eat all of that? And I'm like, I don't know, but the fun's in trying.
Yeah.
Right. And bro, you're a different level because of how your diet and all the things he does. Like he will eat a pizza and a half and a quart of ice cream, like, and be like, I'm hungry still.
Yep.
It's insane, dog.
Well, if you're working out like that, you have to fuel your body. That's a different, you have to, how many calories would you say on like a heavy whatever type of day, lifting or cardio day that like I have to ingest this many calories? What's a heavy calorie day?
Heavy for me is about 3,300 to 3,400. That's
a lot.
For me.
That's a lot.
It's 6 times a day, eating 6 times a day. But again, doing that, shoot your metabolism up so high that you're burning everything. So when my coach originally told me that, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get so fat. There's no way I can't do this. And he's just like, trust the process, do it, try it. And sure enough, I went, from the time we started that, like July to October when the show was, I had dropped from like 205 to 176.
Wow.
But, without losing, the alterations are made, obviously you do that, but there was that look forward to the cheat meal. So I could have 15 tacos
Oh
my
God. Tacos.
And I was never a big eater before that. I mean, I love food, but I was I watched like those hot dog eating contests. And I just go, oh no.
Yeah.
It'd be everywhere. I'd throw up everywhere.
Glizzies are different though, dude. People that are just downing glizzies.
A glizzy's a hot dog.
Yeah.
Glizzies.
Eric looked at you so confused, bro.
Yeah.
He looked at you so confused.
You said, it's a hot
He said, what did he say? He said, what did he say?
Dude, hot dogs are different, bro. You know what I mean? I want to puke when I see a hot dog competition too. Yeah. Hot dogs got a stigma about them, man.
Right.
Oh, you eat hot dogs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He can sit.
Even the name Glizzy just sounds bad, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Like, why doesn't any other food have a nickname?
Because it's a glizzy.
It's a glizzy.
Right.
Nobody wants a damn glizzy.
Right. And the competitions are dunking the buns in water.
They're sticking it in water. Let me soak my bread in water. Dude.
Right, bro?
That wet bread. I mean, who wants wet bread?
No, bro.
There's something fundamentally wrong.
There's a mental health thing going on in that sport.
Dude, I saw something. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile just came to Toledo to like, where was it? Costco or something? Walmart, something like that. It came to just a regular, big chain type store.
Yeah.
And people protested. PETA showed up and protested because the side of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile says like the world's best all beef Franks or something like that, dude, these people were literally out there protesting, saying that there has to be options for everybody. Oscar Mayer should be sending out a Wienermobile that has vegan options too. It should not say all beef. They were so mad. They were so mad, dude, that it only says beef. Like how dare you drive your Wienermobile around with the word beef, dude? Right. You should say beef and tofu dogs.
Yeah. And how dare Tickners only sell men's clothing?
Oh man, come on now.
Come on, dude.
Come on, this is not right. We can't do this. Not in our world today.
God, dude.
You can't have just beef Franks.
No.
Beef glizzies isn't diverse and inclusive.
They so quickly forget that the same country that's giving you the right to protest this is the same one that's actually saying they can say whatever they want.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know.
We can say whatever we want, and you should include us, but you can't include your own opinions, and you can't say whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I want to sue you, I'll sue you.
Yeah, that's wild, dude.
And we won't make it to court, but you'll pay me just to be quiet. We'll settle.
Like, dude, just go have some vegan hot dogs somewhere else.
Just go eat your. Who cares, bro?
I don't care.
Do you realize how many things happen on a daily basis that I see where I'm just like,
I don't care.
Whatever. Like, be you.
Yeah.
Like whatever, dude.
Right.
You really think that it's going to rent that much space in my head where I'm going to show up and protest about some shit
Yeah.
that like someone's eating a certain type of food or wearing a certain cloth or fucking whatever. Like
Oscar Mayer didn't do anything to anybody, dog.
bro, Oscar is a piece of shit.
Okay.
Oscar sucks.
What you know about Oscar?
Man, you don't know Oscar.
What, dude?
The question is not what do I know about Oscar. The question is, it's really sad that you don't know about Oscar. That's not a question. That's a
you don't got to dog me for not knowing Oscar, dog. I'm a fan, bro. What you know about Oscar?
You're not a fan. You're not a fan. You ain't dipping Oscar in water, dog.
Man, dude, I ain't never done that. You're right, but you keep playing with me, I'll freaking do it right now.
I'll go find a glizzy.
I'll get a glizzy right now, dog. Kidding me?
Let's talk about Erich a little bit.
Yeah.
We talked about hot dogs for a solid 5 minutes. That was fire. That was so good, dude. That was so good. Erich, how did you get here?
Oh boy. Let's see. Do you want just the whole thing? Or you want how do you?
I want to start with how you got to team recovery,
Okay.
and then we'll go back.
I knew that I knew a lot of people here. I knew one. I've obviously had some communication with you. I knew a lot of the people that worked here, and I trusted it.
Mhm.
So it was more so. I knew how badly I needed to get back in this. I mean, obviously the treatment was a foregone conclusion, but I needed to be around. Had to be in this environment again.
The community.
This community. Yeah, the connection. All of the things that I didn't do over the previous year and a year and a couple of months, the opposite of that was what I had to have. And, just the knowledge of, like I said, people that I knew here, some of the format, some of how things worked. And, I'd been through here with Juan before, and it was just, it was a no-brainer. I mean, it was really not much of a decision where I needed to be and where I thought I could flourish, not just survive, but, get back and renovate some of the things that I knew, what I'd learned over this last year and where I wanted to be, where I saw myself going. This was just very conducive to that. But again, it was very much that, like you said, the environment and the connection, and the community.
Yeah.
I like what you said about not only getting back because. So is it safe to say that you experienced a relapse?
Uh-huh.
You were out there. You had some recovery, some sobriety, and something happened. I want to talk about that too, on what went different.
Gotcha.
But many people that are going to be watching this, including myself, you went to rehab one time. You're just like a one-hit wonder. I don't know how you did it, and you never got arrested. I honestly don't even know why you're clean. Like, you should still be using.
I have like 20 years left in me.
Yeah, dude, you got a long road out there still, dude. I'll support you, dude. If you want to go back out there,
You feel the need.
I'll never turn my back on you.
Duly noted. I'll see you in a couple months.
Totally kidding, guys. It's not how I feel about that at all. Don't want to get sued. Something happened, and you said to get back to where I was, and then even better, right? Like that. It might have not been those exact words, but I feel like a lot of people feel like they'll never get back to where they were before. And obviously something was missing, right? Like if you felt really good about where you were prior to a relapse, then obviously you weren't at your maximum potential, right? Like if you're here and you relapsed, then you weren't at your maximum potential. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
Like, or else you would not have relapsed.
Nope.
So that means that coming back from a relapse and getting back into it, letting go, stop beating ourselves with that baseball bat, right? Like letting go of it and picking up where we left off, starting over, head held high and saying, I need to do this again. And there's no shame in that.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to happen, but it certainly does. And unfortunately, in what we do, it happens more often than not.
Sure does.
And so will that ever change? Who knows? I would love idealistically to say, yes, it will change. And the percentage of people coming through being one and done will increase.
Yeah.
Not sure how that could even be measured, but it's not over for you.
Oh no,
it's not over for you.
No.
Like wherever you were before, you can exceed that. And you can be so much more than that.
I got myself a reminder that it's a shirt that some friends of mine print up, but it says, I'm coming for everything they said I couldn't have.
Shoosh.
And that's just, all I have to do is glance at it. And I remember, the things that got me to, substantial years of some sobriety quality.
Mhm.
And like I said, it was just that whole process over the last year. It still makes my head spin when I look at it. Is like I did almost completely the opposite of what not only I believed in, I betrayed my values, I lost my identity. It was just spellbinding almost to recognize standing there one day and going, what the hell just happened to me? What did I just do? Yeah.
Did you see it coming?
Everybody else but me. And I probably did, but I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to, the whole process was more or less that I somehow believed that instead of action and doing the things that kept me sober, instead of doing the daily, it was always my thing to say to people, which is ironic and humbling at this point, but that success is never owned. It is rented, and the rent's due every day. And that's exactly what I didn't do. I thought I was going to outthink this thing, that I knew enough about it, that things are going to turn around. I mean, I'll just keep doing this. I'll sit in my comfort zone. I'll not reach out when things are mentally and emotionally not where they need to be. And that was the majority of that year. I didn't do any of the things that I knew kept me sober. And it was like, I glanced up and I'm like, here it is, the carry out. Yeah. Good idea. No, nothing changed.
How long would you say from the minute that you stopped doing everything? So you found out what was working for you. And then let's say you stopped on this day doing those things or started to do them less. How long did it take for you to find yourself at that carry out?
I would say safely, probably close to, I'd say somewhere in between 4 and 6 months.
It's quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's quick.
And it was, like I said, and I knew to kind of go back, one of the biggest pieces of it, and I don't know if it's follow up or anything, but you'd mentioned the counseling field. When I left that, one of the biggest, it was kind of a multi-layered thing, because one of the biggest things that I experienced was this gut-wrenching realization that I had given away basically my self-worth. And all I identified as in my life was a counselor. And once it was gone, I felt like I was nothing. I felt like I was no one.
Interesting.
And that scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm still somebody. This laundry list of things I've done and not done is not comprising who I am as a person. So why am I thinking like this? But the more things unraveled and unrolled, the more I started believing my own dialogue about, you're no good at this. You're not, it was just a downward spiral. And the thing being is, I know that if I do the things, if I have the connections, if I talk, if I get vulnerable, if I, am I exercising, if I'm eating right, if I'm feeding my body fuel and just doing what I do, none of what that happened over that year was anything different than what had happened to me in the past. Correct. It was just the universe hitting you in the mouth sometimes, I would have never thought about drinking. I never considered it.
Right.
But the catalyst was, I didn't armor up, I was no longer carrying that. So I was just a soft target sitting there waiting. And
so when the universe did hit you in the mouth, you couldn't hit it back.
Nope. I had no weapons on me.
Yeah. So, talking about that and I'm just hearing so many like analogies probably between like just recovery in general and exercise, which is really important for you. Yeah. Like you said, it's not owned. Nope. Like that whatever 6-pack or whatever that you want to get or those pecs, like those aren't, like, you have to work at that.
Absolutely.
And you have to do that consistently or else those things go away.
Yes, they do.
Right. And there's an analogy there with recovery too. Like we have to continue to do those things. And that changes, just like workout will change as we grow older, right? Or it changes with our availability in our work or where we live and how we're going to do that. Maybe right now we live in an area when there's not a gym, so we're running every day and we're doing calisthenics at home. And now we live right next to a gym, so we're hitting the gym every day and we're lifting weights. And it's the same thing with recovery. Like you get a job and your shift is from 9 to 5. Well, cool. I can go to a 7 a.m. home group.
Right.
And now I live in an area I had to move for work. And I'm in this different area where there's really not that many meetings around and I can only go to a Saturday morning meeting once a week, but does that mean that I'm not recovering the way that I'm supposed to? Right. Go ahead.
Dude, I like hearing it though. I think it's interesting. Like the gym, right? You can see the results, right? I can see when my 6-pack's going away or when my muscles, these things are happening and I think when it comes to mental, emotional, and spiritual, like health, wealth, and like strength, like I can recall in my head what to do, and the thoughts of like that can live in my head, and I can say I know and I'm okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And not be, you know.
Yeah.
It's not as transparent to see when I'm declining mentally or emotionally or spiritually, you know, or just to think I'll get back there, I'll do this, or that's okay. It's easier to justify, you know, the decline.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think Matt hit it when he was likening it to other things that we have. And I think it's anything that anytime we have, whether it's internal or external, a possession that is worth something, anytime we have that, it's going to take some level of maintenance. Mm-hmm, you know, I mean, you got to do something with it, or it's not going to be what it used to be.
Yeah.
And that happened with my self-worth. That happened, you know, with my self-esteem, you know, my decision-making, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then just my overall drive. It just, things were like, you know, it's that, you know, I missed yesterday in the gym. I missed yesterday of going to a meeting and nothing bad happened. So nothing bad's going to happen tomorrow too.
Right.
That's strung along. Yeah.
That's the worst thing that can happen is we can get away with shit.
Yeah, for sure.
The worst thing that we can do in our recovery or on our road downward spiral towards a relapse is getting away with something.
Yep.
No question.
I remember hearing somebody, an old timer in AA, tell me one time, like, he went back out and he was a drug addict, loved substances, but he went out and he drank after like getting out of prison or something like that. He didn't want to like fully commit to this lifestyle of being abstinent. He came back and he drank. He said, I was out with my friends. We got wasted, and the worst thing that you could possibly imagine happened to me. And I'm like waiting to hear like they robbed a bank or they got in a really bad car accident and somebody died. He's like, I went home, fell asleep peacefully. I woke up the next morning. That was the worst thing that could have happened, is you get away with doing these things, because if there's no consequences for bad shit in our lives, why would we ever change?
Right.
So it's just like the movement and the inertia that we get when we're doing the good things is also the opposite. When we stop doing those good things, it's even harder to get back into it. Crosses over to recovery too. Like, you stop going to meetings. It's like, man, I've been fine for 3 months and I haven't gone to a meeting. Why would I go to a meeting?
Right.
I've been good for 3 months, you know, and that it just compounds and compounds, like you said. I really like that. I didn't even think about that. You can see the results when you work out daily.
Yeah.
When you don't work out your mind and soul, you can't see anything. You have to feel it. Or when you do work it out, you can't necessarily see something.
Yeah.
That, you know, there's no like direct physical attribute that comes with it. It's all internal. And if you can't be in tune with yourself and feel that,
right.
If you can't feel it,
right. Yeah. Then delusion happens.
Then you're delusional, you know. It's like, again, I heard a guy say one time, like, how you living? How are you living? Like, I mean, I'm clean and got a job and I'm sober.
Yeah.
And then he goes, how are you feeling about how you're living?
Ooh.
And I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
I don't feel great. I really don't. I'm not happy. This was a long time ago. I'm not happy in the job that I'm at. Like, I don't feel like I'm really I'm like fulfilling my total potential. I'm still like cheating at work, or like, you know, punching in early and like stealing from my employer and like all these things, like just like, not good stuff. I don't feel good about that shit. Like, at some point it's going to catch up.
Yeah.
It takes one of those things. One time of getting caught doing something, you can fuck up your life without using drugs.
Oh yeah.
If you're not living on that spiritual plane, you know, and it's like, so it's just really important that we do stay in it. And I'm glad that you're here to like talk about how that works, because again, most individuals that are going to watch this have experienced that too. And most importantly, it's knowing that they can come back from it. I'm glad that you're here doing that.
I'm so happy to be here. It's been, I told Juan this too. It's the first time in over a year that I felt like I was home, you know, that something was so comfortable and I've, you know, you hit it really, really well. You just picked out so many ways that I felt during that. 'Cause at the time, you know, I was trying to keep afloat by training people at the gym, and it just wasn't enough. And then I'd work with friends that were, you know, worked out their own businesses, that they would employ me for a while, you know, that they could, but none of it fit, you know, none of it was fulfilling. None of it was, nothing against what they do, obviously, but it was just, it was not me.
It wasn't where you wanted to be.
And that's where I was trying to fit myself into this. And, look, you're just going to have to do this, this you're going to have, which is fine, if I tough it out. But that gets so hard when, I'm still dealing with this thing, with self-worth. I'm like, I'm not good at this. I felt like I was more in the way at work than I was doing anything because these guys were skilled labor, and I was a gopher more or less on different things that I was doing. So I just felt like I was in the way. But then the biggest key, I just, like you said, with the spiritual part, I just wasn't growing anymore. I wasn't doing anything. And that's when I flourish, is when I'm pushing myself beyond what I know I can do.
Yeah.
Having those I don't like to set goals that I think I can reach. I want to set them so that I have to be the guy that grows into the person that can reach those.
Sure.
That it's going to take pain, that it's going to take
sacrifice.
Sacrifice, something that nobody else is willing to do. I love that. It's on my Facebook. It says, is like, today I will do what others won't so that tomorrow I can do things that others can't. And that's,
Ooh, I love that.
I do
so much.
And that's, for a long time, one of the happiest years, my sobriety and things like that, that was completely the mindset. It was, I don't care if this hurts. I'm going to be the last one in here because I want to know mentally that I'm willing to do what somebody else isn't. And it was taking place in all the facets of my life. It was a bleed over, not the gym, not just, the therapy and different things like that. It was just, it was an overall overarching theme.
Sure.
And that's when I'm most comfortable. And we actually just in group today, we did some mission statements, and that was highly reflective of what my thought process on that. And it was, when I said to Matt, it was, I am determined and I will be better than I've ever been. It's not getting back to status quo. There were a lot of things I still hadn't accomplished. There was a lot of things that I don't know what the timeline is on it, but I want to be better than I ever was.
Yeah. You'll be there.
It's interesting, man, too, because I'm reflecting the gym or certain practices that I have, certain things that get me well, keep me well, whether that's prayer or working out in the gym or interacting with people. These things to me in the past, and I've seen it for other people, where they've turned into superstitions almost. Okay, I'm doing this every day. I got to do it to stay well. If I don't have it, then I'm not well. And the thing with me is if there's anything that I'm doing that it's going to turn into a superstition, and that if I don't do the superstition, I'm not well, there's a liability in that. If the gym keeps me well, but if something gets in the way of the gym, if I get injured, is what's this going to show up for? And for me, I love that. I have to think unorthodox like that. When you said, I want to do something more than anybody else can, I think about that with pain in every sense of the way, grief, suffering, uncomfortability, fear, insecurities. I want to be exposed to these things in a mental and emotional way. And from a physical standpoint, I definitely need to grow. And that's somewhere I want to push myself to, but I can become very superstitious and stagnant and create this environment around me that's almost a spiritual incest or an emotional incest, where I'm only being around people that are going to confirm my beliefs. Confirmation bias lives in it, and it's well, if you're not there, that's a dangerous place. I have to be an advocate, for what is right for me, what's right for life. Am I feeling good about living? That hits, bro.
Yeah. How do I feel about how I'm living?
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I'm not feeling the best version of me if I'm not calling me out of my own shit.
Yeah.
But also if I'm not holding other people around me to a higher standard too. And you do that for me a lot, Matt. You keep me from sitting in superstitious patterns. And it's something I pride myself in, and saying, no, that's not a good way to do things. No.
Well, that's why it's important to have good people. You know what I mean? That's what the team aspect here. That's how we got to where we were at in the very beginning. Because we didn't necessarily know what it meant to do things right.
No.
We wanted to, and we had good intentions, but truly none of us had ever done things all the way right. So it took one person calling each other out on other things, and that'll never change in recovery. No. It talks about there's no greater immunity towards the next drink or drug than working with a fellow alcoholic or addict. That is the best way to do it. Yep. And I see people getting out of that. I'm not talking about work. I'm not talking about clocking in to be a counselor. I'm not talking about being a nurse.
Altruism.
Center. I'm talking about when you go home, taking a phone call from somebody who's struggling, and then going to read the big book with them or some shit like that. That's the work that I'm talking about that we can never, ever, ever get away from.
Yeah.
And then in addition to what you were saying, dude, I love what you just said, because what happens when we put all of our eggs in one basket?
That's right.
We put all of our eggs in one basket, and that basket gets taken away from us.
Yep.
Yeah.
But what do we do, dude? We don't know how to react.
Yeah.
We don't know how. We haven't been taught how to adjust to things like that because it may have never happened. Like life is so good, and then the goodness gets taken away.
Right.
All we know is bad things. And when bad gets taken away, we just add more bad, whatever. I'll use more and cope with it.
And my pride will make me believe.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. So then, but then it's like, what do I do to make sure that either A, my eggs aren't all in one basket and I've got lots of different layers of protection, or I have a relationship with the power that's greater than me. That when that thing does get that shit, all of it, doesn't matter if it all gets taken away. You could take everything away from me right now. If my relationship with my higher power is good enough, there is no human power, they say in the big book. No human power.
Yeah.
There will come a point where no human power can stop us from taking that. But there is a non-human power that if we're good with him, her, it, whatever you want to call it, that can.
And it does.
So it's like, what are we doing? So it's like, okay, I want to go back to this with you, chasing passions in sobriety, finding self-worth. How did what you did before to get clean and sober? I don't know what program, how you necessarily believed, whether you did or did not believe in a power greater than yourself, what technical program you lived on a daily basis. Are you doing anything different this time around to say, maybe last time I didn't work steps, this time I'm willing to consider learning about what steps are? You know what I mean? Like, so what is it that's going to get you? Because it's not you. Clearly, we all know it's not us. If it was us, we would have done it ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
So what is it that's going to get you not only back to where Erich was, but to the best Erich that Erich can be?
Gotcha. And I think one thing about me is kind of like you were hitting on. I'm completely open-minded. I think every individual is different on what kind of recovery program, what kind of treatment is going to be best for them, because we're all different. It doesn't make sense. I mean, obviously there are some programs in a place that are tried and true, showing results, but it isn't everybody. You know, but that does not mean that a combination of the two, pieces from here, put them together and they make me happy.
Absolutely.
Then, because I've always said pretty much truly happy people don't use, it just doesn't, we don't see that. And, the biggest thing that I will change this time around, and I alluded to it before, was that eye-opening, gut-wrenching realization that I had completely identified as just a counselor, what I did and nothing more. Okay. It's safeguarding and working daily on understanding my self-worth, reestablishing who I really am, in essence. And so that never, no matter what happens, kind of like you said, that whatever we lose, I still got me. And I think there was a while that I could say that I had that, that no matter what, you weren't going to rock my boat, because I knew what I was going to get up and do the next day. How it was going to work out, what it was going to look like, not sure. That'll be decided. Sure. But I knew what my intent was. I knew that I had the motivation to do it. I know that I had the direction to do it. I had the capability to do it. So that every day was a challenge. Like you were talking about as well, it was a kind of appreciating pain. Okay. And certainly not in any sadistic way, but understanding and appreciating the positives that pain gives us, what it allows us to do and grow. I mean, who's ever grown without pain? It just doesn't, they're not mutually exclusive ever. And it was being able, once you start to be able to accept and get uncomfortable, get comfortable with the uncomfortable and getting uncomfortable, getting vulnerable, all of those fears that used to dominate my life, especially prior to getting sober this last time, I was just a very scared person. I was scared of everything. I was scared of success, failure, how I looked to other people, opinions of me, where was I going in life? Is it too late? All those questions. But the more that you make friends with those emotions and not labeled as good and bad, they're communicating to me. They're telling me something's changed, that maybe I want to pay attention to this, but it leaves it up to me still. It's saying, do I need to? And well, maybe not, but you decide. And the more that I can accept those as, just being there, the less fear, I feel like is surrounding my life. There's the fear of living no longer exists when I'm on that path. And when I'm definitely making a concerted effort to grow wherever I can. And I know that, like I said, my passion 100% is helping others where I can. teaching from my failures, being able to know that I made a difference, even if I never get to hear it from that person, knowing that something is going better when I see somebody 5 years down the road who I may have been a client, may have been a member, and they're doing great.
Yeah.
They're doing amazing things. I liken it to golf. You can go out and hit 1,000 bad shots, but that one that you hit is beautiful. It'll keep you coming back. And that used to take, any of the frustration, any of the, because obviously in the world of recovery, I know that a lot of people on the outside, I don't think anybody within these walls this would apply to, but I know, even family members, that don't quite understand what the attraction, what the passion is for helping people in treatment, and helping people with addiction, helping people with, just coming up in horrible environments. Their normal is something that, a lot of people can't understand and haven't lived it and don't, we all know the stigma that's associated with a lot of what we do. And they were like, well, hey, if that's you, and you'd get the typical type, and I don't mean to label it, but like type A response sometimes. And as much as I love my family, it comes out sometimes that way, but it's like, and it's not like my mom or anybody close, but I hear it often, you're not going to make a lot of money that way. You're not going to, have these things. I'm like, money's never made me happy. I've had periods in my life where I made plenty of money, tons of money, and I was drinking. So I never had anything to show for it. So it's not a motivator to me. It's a cool thing. It does allow freedom. I'll give it to, but I don't know. It's when I'm motivated by that connection with the environment of somebody, watching somebody that maybe hasn't smiled in 2 years break out in that smile, watching families get back together, watching somebody's child say, I love you for the first time in 15 years to a parent that's not been there because of their addiction, because of what they're going through. That I swear you can skip my paycheck that day, because that's what my world, that's the win. That's the victory.
Goosebumps. I got goosebumps.
That's the love of it. And there's never, and I can almost guarantee there's nothing that will match that fulfillment for me. When I found and got on the other side of the table and was being able to do this as a job, and I'm like, it's not even a job. It's my world. It's my life,
It's an opportunity.
And as long as I'm working on, like I said, the not losing myself in it, and it's hard, because you both know, I know that it's, you can get so close to it sometimes that it's hard to define that line. And I went way over it, and to where it was defining who I was rather than me defining who I was.
Yeah.
And, like I said, when I stepped back and it was just gone, and I was like, what does this make me,
Yeah.
And then the questions delved even deeper, the personal questions. I'm like, did I ever have self-worth? Did I ever know what that really was?
Yeah,
was this all an illusion?
Yeah.
Right. So, man, it was like I said, it was just like constant getting hit in the head with a bat that was emotional pain rather than anything. But I know that it's my passion, and there's nothing else in the world that I would rather do.
Yeah.
Not in a million years. I found it. It fits. I love it. And there was, honestly, even to the end of it, almost there was never a moment that I didn't want to get up and go to work.
Yeah.
There was always going to be something. It doesn't matter how many challenges there were during the day. There was always going to be a moment that you go, that's why I do this.
It's of good purpose all the time.
It is. There's never a moment that it isn't. Even on the days if you feel like you lost, you didn't.
Yeah.
And they didn't either.
You learned. Yeah, you did. Yeah. Dude, listen. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, we haven't really gotten to know each other very well. With all sincerity, it has been like a really good time having a conversation with you. Certain people just have certain things, like the ability to carry a conversation, to be eloquent with words, to like actually speak with purpose, and like you can feel that they mean what they're saying and things like that. And you have those things, and I can see that was very valuable for you in serving others. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
For real. I want you to know that I'm proud of you, regardless of the clean time number and how many times you've fallen. Like, we all are here with the same, we have today.
That's right.
We have today.
That's right.
Okay. And wherever you want to be, you have that type of personality to get there. Like, you will do that. I fully believe that. Who knows? You might be here someday. I've seen it before. I
don't want to leave. Yeah.
And when you talk about wherever you were and where you want to be, dude, you'll be in a better position, in a better place, in a better culture, with a better team, whatever it is. Like, it can be better. And you're the one that's going to get yourself there.
Man.
And I really believe that's going to happen for you. Like, wholeheartedly, I'm proud of you for being where you're at, and I believe that you're going to do it. I just wanted to say that out loud on camera. But thank you, man. Thank you for being here. Yeah, 100%. It means a lot to me that you came and shared with us. So
it's fun, man. It's
fun. We'll do it again. We'll definitely do it again. Thank you, guys. I want to share everybody that watched today, and I want to thank everybody that shared this episode of Erich telling his story and his passion of people in recovery and fitness and how those two things go together. If you're watching this, please share this episode. Whether you want to or not, I don't care. Just share it right now. Please share it, because somebody else is going to see it when you share it. And that's what's most important. It's about doing this for somebody else. If you haven't already, please support us by liking and subscribing. That's all we're asking you to do, is like and subscribe to our channel so that you can see more things that do pop up on all of our channels. There's a link in our bio. It's going to give you details on where you can follow us. We're trying to get a certain amount of followers so that we can reach more people. So help us in doing that, please. As always, if you're struggling, if you need help, if you need support, if you need family resources, whatever it might be, we have our hotline, 419-561-LIFE. Call us. We'll do our absolute best to help you find what you need. That's what we do. And thank you, guys. I just appreciate everybody watching this episode today. It was a great time. Thanks again, Erich. Thank you, Juan.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
And again, I want to thank the good folks at Golden Goose for supporting us and sponsoring us with the 200 pairs of shoes that they sent us. Juan, go ahead. Give a good shout out to the folks at Golden Goose.
Yeah, man. Yeah. First and foremost, guys, I really want to extend to you guys what a gift it is to watch Matt's feet sit inside of these shoes after knowing what he's been through without them. We'll touch on that a little bit later. You guys follow up with us. So the first thing you need to know is that our good friend Avis Delchentrot from the Soviet Union started this company in 1733. 20 years after that, in 1753 is the actual date. But we'll refer back to the other date for no reason at all. And what I want you to think about right now is what happens when you put your feet into eagle-winged, soldier-tipped shoes that are lined with the alpaca thigh leather. This stuff comes from the ancient historical versions of the Roman Empire before they were Roman, and they were actually Aramaic, and they had golden goose wings. These wings will take you somewhere. If you got a drug addiction, it'll fly you out of it. If you got an eating problem, it'll soar you through it. And if you got a thinking problem, you're fucked. But what I will tell you and what I won't tell you is two different things. And that's what I will tell you and what I won't tell you. But if you want a pair of these shoes and you know what to do, get down and hit the number and do what you do. It's 1-800-999-9999. And if you do that, you're going to get ran into another beep on code 2. Number 2, press here, and you're going to get directed straight into a guy named Steve. He has no relation to Avis or any of the Soviet forefathers. He's just some dude who's a cousin to a guy named Bruce that knows a woman named Natalie, and now he makes sales and purchases and gives you a subscription, and that subscription will include 2 new pairs of shoelaces for Red Wing boots, not your shoes. But I promise you're going to like what you get, and you get what you got. So hit us up really quick on the down low on our link, www.ronnie274-273wingmesusan.com. And this is a special offer that runs for 3 days, and you'll see it on the timer now. So just stay here on our page for 3 days, and you got a good chance to get something good. And with that, I love you. Bye.
Ouch. Yeah. Wow. Nice job.
He clicked the link at
WW Ronnie.
WW Ronnie.